Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
I don't have to surprise you with this thought, but we are living in challenging times. And I don't mean to be negative here or invoke any kind of fear or anything like that, but it is challenging for many of us. You wouldn't think that men are facing formidable challenges right now, but they are. Surprising. If you take a look at the reports from the CDC, younger men, just an example here, are lonely, feel isolated. Who would ever think? You think that, guys would be in their 20s, 30s, hanging out with their buddies, having a great time. No, quite the opposite. That's just one example. Today, we're going to look at the biggest challenges that men are facing right now. And he works with all men and women, but in particular guys. He is an author, mentor, speaker, life coach, success coach, and he's back with us. Dr. Bary Fleet is on the program with us. Bary, welcome back. How are you?
I'm good, Steve. How are you this afternoon?
Very well, very well. And I'm going to be fully transparent as I always am. And a lot of the stuff that we're going to talk about, I get and I relate to. I really do. It's it's a surprise that guys deal with this stuff now, but I think part of it makes it even more challenging. Guys don't talk about it so much, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And what I've noticed, you talked about younger guys. They do get together, they drink beer, they play golf, they do whatever. But in terms of talking about things, about making themselves vulnerable, talking about things that aren't working in their lives, those conversations don't come up unless it's in the context of just complaining.
Yes, which is human nature, and we love to vent on somebody, and it's human nature also to be the victim, to sound like the victim.
Absolutely. And one of the things that this particular study that I was recently looking at showed is that we're really good about blaming circumstances. And if only things were different, if only my boss was different, if only my spouse was different, if only my kids were different, if only whatever. But very few guys take 100% responsibility for where they are in life, and for making a plan to change. A lot of guys are successful in various areas of their life, but what I have found is there's often one or two areas where we know that we are underperforming. And that's where it's easy to blame circumstances. But what I know, I'm convinced of, is that we create our own reality, we create our own experience.
Yeah.
And if there's something that's not working in my life, guess what? I've created it.
That hurts, but it's the truth, and it's a reminder that we get into routines. I want to say a rut, and we just can rinse and repeat every day. We're doing the same thing, but all we're doing is getting closer to the garbage goal, the double G, the garbage goal. You're creating that, and it's not going to change. You can complain to your friends, you can dump on them, and all of that is it's not going to change unless you change.
Yeah, I had a mentor years ago who told me that a rut is only a grave with the ends knocked out.
Wow. I had to do the visual, but I got it. Yeah. It is so true. And I'm a firm believer in we do manifest our lives. It's happening. And you may be doing it so slowly, but you're bringing all this stuff on. I think, have you done this? Have you, and I remember you found a book or journal you told us about a while back, where you wrote down some goals and just happened to find it. And then you realize all this stuff actually happened to me. It all came true. And
yes.
I don't know if that was intentional or if that was just a list of stuff I want to do, but you checked them all off without even knowing you were checking them all off because you forgot about this book or this list of things.
Right. But the key is a lot of us, I don't think, have really spent time thinking about how do I want my life to be?
Mm.
We get so caught up in how it is
Yeah.
and in managing it. And I hear a lot of guys who feel overwhelmed with all that they feel like they need to be managing. And it's hard to stay on top of everything.
Yep.
And I think one of the prices that we pay is that we stop taking care of ourselves.
100 billion%. And I will tell you here, not about me, but but if it helps anybody, that's I don't want to call it a mistake because everything is a lesson, I believe, but that's what I didn't do. And I had a conversation with my son the other night about I'm sorry for not doing that because I would have in the early years of his life would have been a better dad because
Yeah,
I didn't practice self-care. It was all take care of everybody else, got to take care of the family, got to make sure there's enough money. Didn't do this. Didn't take care of this.
right, right.
Right.
And the other thing is that when we feel overwhelmed, we don't have anybody to talk to.
Yeah.
We and we're too proud because part of the male identity is I can handle it. We're too proud to sit down to somebody and say, hey, I'm really struggling here. Here's where I am. Got some thoughts, got some ideas. And a lot of times, even being able to say it out loud to somebody else, the answers start coming to us. We often don't need somebody else to give us answers, because ultimately we we know our own answers, and what works for somebody else may or may not work for us.
Sure.
But taking the time and making ourselves vulnerable enough to have the conversation and to say some things out loud that I might be ruminating on, but to talk out loud in the presence of somebody that we know cares about us, somebody that we can trust. Brene Brown has a great concept about in terms of trustworthiness being what she calls a vault. Somebody tells me something, it's going in the vault. It's not coming out anyplace else.
Mm.
And we need people that we can talk to that will be the vault for us. That we can share our struggles, our frustrations, our sadness, our sense of overwhelm, and trust that it's not going to go anywhere else.
Isn't it amazing? And I'm sure you've experienced this and experienced it for others that when you do talk about things, Bary, you're just providing things, getting it, lack of a better description, off your chest. And
Right,
the other person isn't coming up with the answer, but they may just give you a couple of words to have you look at it in a different light and allow you to see the answer that you already is inside, but it's all covered up by all the everything around you. It's like being in the tornado. You can't see outside of the tornado when you're spinning inside of it.
right. Compassionate curiosity.
Hmm. Wow.
When somebody cares enough to ask questions, not in the sense of getting the dirt,
Yeah.
but just reflecting from a place of concern. Have you thought about this? What's
Right.
this look like?
Yeah. Yeah.
And we need somebody, um, who won't judge us or put us down, but hears us as an equal. Somebody that acknowledges, um, we all have our own struggles, our own issues. But rather than being here's the answer person, and here's poor me down here, I'm trying to get up here, that I sit down with somebody here that I can see, I can trust as an equal, that isn't going to look down on me, that isn't going to judge me, and no matter what I'm struggling with, and no matter where I've been, they still care about me. That's not going to change.
Yeah. Yeah. It's finding that person sometimes is a challenge, but I also believe that that's where a life coach comes in.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Hmm.
And I love being that person and creating that space for other people.
I can tell that you do. It really can. The passion comes through. And not to say that therapy isn't a good thing or an important thing, but it's a different view, a different feel when you talk with a coach who's not looking at it, on a clinical level, but just somebody who can give you a different view of things or make you look at things in a different way so that you have some clarity. And I think that's isn't it a lot we're dealing with a lot of men don't have that clarity.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think, like you say, we get so caught up in being overwhelmed with what I need to get done today or what I need to get done this week that we don't take the time to be quiet and
Mhm.
just think and meditate, um, and open ourselves up to what's going on at a deeper level.
For a lot of guys, when you say the word meditation, I believe they get a look in their mind that says, I can't meditate. I don't know how to meditate. What are you even talking about? Meditate. Well, it's called take a walk.
Yeah.
I did it today. I rarely do it. Bad for me. I admit it. But I had a little bit of time. I didn't have enough time to make it to the gym. It's like, I'm going to get a little exercise. I could put on headphones and go for a jog. A little tired. Was out late last night. Had a function. I'm going to just take a walk. It was great.
Yes.
It just felt good being out in nature and thinking a little bit more and just taking some time just and appreciating life and something as simple as a tree. Like I took a different, it's the same route I always take, but I took it in a different direction.
Okay. Yeah.
I felt like I was where am I? It didn't even feel like I was in the same spot. I'm not even kidding.
Absolutely.
Like
Yes.
just the
Yes.
angle of the sun. I'd never seen it that way because I come from this way. Now I was coming from this way. I was like, wow, yeah, I don't live in such a bad place. Kind of nice over here. But
Yeah.
once
It's
it's
the
done,
same stuff, but a different perspective.
it's so cheesy, and I'm going to say it. Yeah, and you probably have heard it as a kid. Stop and smell the roses.
Yes.
Like what it was. Like it's like take the time to appreciate because once you do those little things that you think are so insignificant, they turn into bigger things because then you start getting a little clarity. You start getting a little calm in your life. And it's like, oh, all right, now I can handle that. Oh, I see that in a different way now.
Yes. And part of that, you talk about smell the roses. Um, Starting to make a list of things for which I'm grateful in my life. What is it that is good that I'm grateful for? And maybe I'm having trouble finding something. But I'm the eternal optimist. I believe there is always something that we can be thankful for.
100%.
And what I also know is the more I start looking for things to be grateful for in my life, the more I discover.
It's like the snowball down the hill. There we go, another cliche, but it is once you start.
Yeah,
I've shared with you before. Remember we talked, and I've yet to do it, but I am going to do it. Talked about having a cup of coffee. I'm grateful for a cup of coffee every day. Uh, I drink decaf. It's not to get a jolt and get moving. I'm doing something for myself. I woke up. I experienced the beginning of another day. It's like, that's my $4 me to me. And then you brought up, why don't you go? It's less than a mile away, the Starbucks, and you brought up, why don't you walk there? And I'm like, duh, never even thought of that. Uh, I haven't gotten to that yet. I am going to though.
okay,
Yeah, because then you're another cliche, two birds with one stone. You just now you're getting the walk in. Now I'm grabbing a cup of coffee. So, everybody's different. Every situation is different, but it's those little things and you're right, you start seeing what you're grateful for and we forget about them. We don't realize them.
right, right. We get so caught up in the other stuff. Sometimes I do an exercise with my students at the university. I ask them to really quickly look around the room and look for everything that they see that's brown, and just look for everything that's brown, and then I ask them to close their eyes, and I give them a minute, and then I say, "Tell me what you saw that was blue," and they're dumbstruck, and I say, "Okay, now open your eyes and see what's blue in the room,"
Give me
and
that again. I want to make sure I got that. Give me that again because that is an interesting exercise.
so look around, look for everything that's brown, everything that's brown. Now close your eyes and tell me what you saw that was blue.
Hmm.
Now open your eyes and look around and see if you see anything blue.
What's going on here?
When we when we focus on the crap in our lives, the brown stuff, we overlook the pretty stuff, the blue, the sky.
Wow. This is going to sound ridiculous. Here we are staring at each other. I didn't realize that we had blue shirts on. I'm embarrassed to admit that, but it's guys, I'm like, blue, duh, we have blue shirts on. I didn't even
Yeah,
realize that until I did that. Interesting.
yeah.
Hmm.
Um, so that, I mean, the point of that is that when we make a conscious choice, that we either consciously or unconsciously make choices about what we're paying attention to. And a lot of us get caught up in looking at all the brown stuff in our life. And in doing that, we overlook the beauty that's in our life. And what I'm suggesting is we can make a conscious choice to look for the good. To get up in the morning and like you said, I got up and it's a new day. There's all kinds of new stuff ahead of me, and I'm gonna start by taking care of me and get a cup of coffee and just
Yeah.
take care of me before I start the day.
This word is always used, intentional. You have to be intentional.
Right.
You're going to wake up. Why not do it in such a positive way? What things am I looking forward to doing today? What am I going to take care of today? What do I got going on? Even if it's something little, it added to the stack of those, and now you got something big. Something little. I'm going to grill a steak tonight. Wow, I'm looking forward to that. I haven't done that in a while. All those little things are really big things, and like you said, once you start looking for those things, you're going to see them more easily.
Right. One of the things that I often invite some of my clients to do is to get up in the morning and before they get out of bed, what do I have to look forward to today? And a lot of times the first response is I don't have anything to look forward to. It's this and this and this and this. And then the question becomes, but what could I look forward to? And start from that framework. Well, I could look forward to having supper with my wife tonight. I could look forward to whatever.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah,
but it is about being intentional. That's the key word that you bring up.
it's an interesting way to look at it that you could do that because a lot of times we don't. We just say,
Right.
I got nothing to look forward to. And it's even Monday, some people worst day of the week, and of course so many songs, Manic Monday by the Bangles, Monday, Mamas and Papas, all negativity, negativity. We're programmed to be negative. Unfortunately, um, program yourself the other way around. Look at it in a positive spin. Barry, what are some of the other challenges that men are facing right now?
I think one of it is, um, as I said, there's the self-care thing. Um, I tell myself I don't have time to exercise. Um, and,
Mm,
and one of my things is telling myself I don't have time to is one of the biggest lies that we tell ourselves. Because interestingly, time is the one thing in which we are all equal. Everybody gets 24 hours in a day, 7 days a week. Nobody gets less, nobody gets more. And so it's not that I don't have time, it's I'm not making it important enough to do. I say I want to take care of myself. Well, your behaviors don't show that. And that's one of the things I tell people. I'm not listening to what you tell me. I'm watching what you do. And if you tell me that being physically fit is important to you, why is that not showing up anywhere in what you're doing? And so, what is one thing you could do um, to step in that direction? One of the things that came up with the men's group the other night, because I'm really big on systems um, rather than goals, a system. And we're talking about putting a system in place. And one of the guys in the group said that the system he was going to put in place for this week is when he got up in the morning, he was going to look at the most um, objectionable thing that he would have to do today, and do it first.
Hmm.
Mark Twain had a saying you might have heard of. He said, when you have a frog to swallow, it's best to not look at it too long.
When you have a what to swallow?
A frog.
Okay.
And if you have two frogs to swallow, swallow the big one first.
Yeah. Uh, I love the system idea because it helps you get it done. It's almost,
Yes.
a GPS for life. I'm going to pivot for 5 seconds. When's your birthday?
My birthday's in November.
Okay. So you're Sagittarius?
Scorpio.
Scorpio. Okay. I have a friend who's very system oriented as well, and born in the same month. It's on the cusp. Interesting. Um, it does. I'm somebody that I need the instruction. Give me
Mm-hmm.
step one, step two, steps, and I will follow it every single day. Not a problem, but it needs to be there. And I think for a lot of guys, kind of the same. We're logistical, methodical. When we, even you build something, got a plan, going to do it this way. Know where the tools are. A lot of us don't have a plan for this stuff.
We don't. Andy Frisella, who's made a name for himself with a program called 75 Hard, and his challenge is that for 75 days, and I'm not necessarily recommending this, but I'm suggesting it as a framework. You drink a gallon of water every day. You exercise outside for 45 minutes a day. You pick a diet and you follow that. No cheat days. You read 10 pages of a nonfiction book every day. And you take a picture of yourself every day for 75 days. Because as you drink the water and as you pay attention to what you're eating, your body changes, your face changes. And this is a way of documenting the change over the 75 days.
Hmm.
Interestingly, in his research, the thing that people fail on most is taking a picture of themselves. The easiest thing
Really?
is the piece that's what he says his research has shown.
Wow.
But to have a plan, and I know that when I put my water jug on the counter in the morning, I watch that go down, and I know I've either consumed the water or I haven't. And I've got a checklist. I know that I've either read 10 pages or I haven't. I know that I've either exercised for 45 minutes or I haven't.
Mm.
But those are the things. And I was talking to a friend the other night. Her son just graduated from high school, and she said, they went to the high school graduation and got home and was talking to him, and he was all excited. And it was 10:30 at night, and she realized she hadn't done her exercises for the day, the 45 minutes, and she wasn't going to let herself go to bed without. So she went into her room and did 45 minutes of yoga. Just lie on the floor and stretch out and stretch. But to do that, but when we have that checklist, because we're notorious for working from checklists, and I'm sure that you've done it too. Sometimes I'll have my checklist, and then I'll do something that wasn't on my list, but I'll write it down so I can check it off.
Yes, absolutely. And what's interesting? We just talked about, the word rut before. We'll get in a rut of negativity. Why not do it the other way? Get into a rut of positivity of doing these things. And, a side thought on that, no cheating.
Right.
Sometimes I'll go to the gym and it's like, I'm going to do, 25 minutes on the treadmill along with the rest of the workout. And there will be some times where I'm like, man, I'm getting kind of bored. I want to really get into it right now. It's only like 17 minutes. No.
Yeah.
You're just cheating yourself. Don't do it.
It is. And I think that, and this might be a topic for another conversation. I think that some of these character qualities, we don't think of ourselves in terms of developing character qualities. Like, what does it mean to have integrity? What does it mean to be trustworthy? What does it mean to be compassionate? And have those attributes, develop those as a part of who I am. But to consciously say, no, I'm going to live in integrity. The thing, I've been on the treadmill 17 minutes. It's pretty boring. I've been on for 17 minutes. That's more than half the time, right? So,
Right. Well, you know what? It's funny you should say that because integrity, I believe, is number one. And I've gotten to a point where my life where, I'm okay with saying that I'm proud to have integrity. I've worked hard at it, and it's my mom always said that too. Um, but when you cheat yourself at the 17 minutes and not the 25, you're slipping your own personal integrity. I never
absolutely,
I never thought of it that way
absolutely.
because we
And
think of it as public, the perception, friends, family, whatever it is, your integrity. What about the integrity to yourself?
right. And what I know is that if I can cheat myself, I'll cheat somebody else too. It's not that clean cut between, oh, in the world I have total integrity. It's my own life where it doesn't show up. Um, what I've realized is Maya Angelou has a quote that says, um, "Never trust a naked man who offers you the shirt off his back."
Yeah.
But what her point is, I can't love another person until I love myself.
Well, we've always said that, and so important. Um, I will say that I I don't not everybody that cheats themselves out of 5 minutes in a workout doesn't mean you're going to cheat others out there. Um, and where does that sit? That sits at self-care. And
It
that
does.
and I think it's kind of the opposite sometimes where you are taking care of everybody else, you are making sure everybody's happy, and you're cheating yourself. To do that, to make sure that gets done, everybody else, there's only so much to grab from. Here it is. So you're giving everybody this, and you're giving yourself this, and that's where you go wrong. And the whole self-care thing. And guys, they say that women are the worst at self-care. I don't know about that. And I know women, have a lot to juggle as moms and everything else, but yeah, sometimes guys will take some time to play golf or whatever it might be. Maybe a woman might not do that, but all the other stuff that guys don't do that they should, and that's why I think we have big challenges for men right now.
Absolutely. And that's one of the reasons why our lifespan is dropping. It has peaked and it's starting to go down
Yeah.
instead of continuing to go up,
Yep.
because we've gotten caught up in the busyness, and we've stopped taking care of ourselves. Or we've gotten the idea of, I'll get to that someday.
Yeah. Today is the someday.
Yes,
Yep. Bary, always fantastic talking with you. Your website, it's your name, right?
it is. www.drbaryfleet.com. That's DRBARYFLEET.com. And if you're somebody that's listening that would like to be held accountable, that would like to be challenged to be the best version of you in all aspects of your life, reach out, be in touch. Go to my website. You can send me an email, you can text me, you can call me. My cell phone is there. I'm available.
At the very least, somebody impartial to talk to start the relationship and conversation.
Right.
Yeah, you are so easy to talk to. You really are.
Thank you. It's a two-way street.
Yeah, and you have a great conversation, great perspective on things, and totally appreciate you and you being here today.
Thank you so much.
And
Thanks for you being here.
and one final thought, everybody, drink some water. Seriously. Yeah, as you're saying it before, I'm like,
Cheers.
And my cup is empty. My cup is empty. Gotta get another one.
Okay.
I didn't think I'd drink enough today. Thanks again, Bary. We'll talk soon.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, I mean, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.